Good morning, everybody. It's Jesse Ziegler.
And Quinn Cody.
And you're here at the Klein Technical Riding Gear Dakar Rally Daily Show, where we talk about the Dakar Rally daily. Like every day we talk about it.
Yeah, it's a daily thing now.
It's why we named it that is because we knew we would be here every damn day talking about this. And it's a good thing because there's something to talk about every day in this race.
Yes, there is.
And today there will be something to talk about for 2 days.
Yeah.
If we could only go in the future and figure out how this 48-hour chrono stage is going to shake out for these guys, then we would really have some scoops today.
More than half of it is shaken out already. So
yeah,
this is a good thing.
They really threw down today and covered a lot of kilometers in this stage. Let's get into the general sort of virtual standings, I'll call them, because there is no official stage stop today. It's one stage over 2 days. Very confusing for our simple little rally brains, but we think we got it figured out.
Yes.
They race out in the desert, they stop, they race tomorrow, and then they get a time tomorrow.
Yes, they do. So, yeah, the final time won't come in until they cross the finish line of the stage tomorrow. They're racing to a series of bivouacs in the desert. So it looks like some of the guys have made it to the further long bivouac. So there's guys spread within a couple 100 kilometers, basically, of different areas.
Which was the goal. I think the organizers are pretty happy that everybody's not in the same spot here.
Yeah.
They want them spread out.
For sure.
Suffering alone.
They're happy that the guys didn't make it to the finish line.
They probably were seriously worried about that, I think.
Yeah.
Them just covering 645 kilometers of racing in one day. But they didn't. They ran 515 or something like that.
Yep.
So general classifications.
Should we talk about our sponsors and stuff this morning?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure. I just get so excited about the racing.
I know, but you got to do it.
Our sponsors are excited about the racing too because they're actually motorcycle companies.
Yes, they are.
Not like corporate,
We're not like
magnets.
Sponsored by Athletic Greens or something.
No, we're not. We're not athletic.
We need some of that.
We do need some of that. But thankfully, we don't need that now because we're sponsored by Klein Technical Riding Gear. They're our key title sponsor of this podcast until we die. They're going to be our sponsor, I think. I hope.
I think so.
If you're watching, Klein, please keep sponsoring us.
We keep delivering, so.
We do. We are delivering in spades. KTM is our OEM sponsor today. And once again, Quinn Cody, I don't know how you do it every day. Look at you got a KTM shirt on.
Got my KTM factory racing shirt on here. So.
Good job. You're basically on the team. And Kevin Benavides is hanging out behind you back there.
Yep.
Still not giving that jersey away or that jacket away.
All right. Jesse loves his rally jackets.
Oh, they're so cool. Like everything about rally is just cool. And their jackets are cool. The bikes are cool. You're cool.
Yeah. Maybe if Kevin wears or wins a stage, I'll wear his rally jacket. It's really, really small.
Hey, didn't you already wear it once?
Jesse could wear it.
Didn't you already wear it once for a photo shoot?
I wore Toby's jacket.
Oh, okay.
It was actually kind of big on me.
I'm going to pull up some photos of Quinn pretending to be Toby Price. I think it's the 2024 890 Adventure R Rally. You guys can make a decision whether this is Toby Price or Quinn Cody in these photos. And also, this photo that I'm going to put up right now is suspiciously like the Sasquatch evidence photo of the Sasquatch walking through the woods. You be the judge whether you think it's the same. I think it's the same photo. I think it's the same guy.
All right.
So thanks to KTM for hooking us up. KTM, they make my probably favorite adventure bike, the 890 Adventure R.
Yeah, mine too.
Currently. I mean, there's a lot of new ones coming out, so there's competition there.
Yep.
Moto Minded, they're our big sponsor for our Dakar Rally Daily Fantasy Derby. That is happening for 2 days now. We gave Redak a day off because it's a chrono stage. We don't have a result today. Giant Loop Moto, making bags for bikes. Fast Company, High Desert Adventures, JimmyLewisOffroad.com, Taco Moto, and Peak Design. You might spot a little Peak Design product placement in my video right here. This is my phone case and my tripod that they come with. And I leave it there because we get messages, we get videos from Anthony out in the field the whole time we're recording the show. So
yeah,
very cool accessories.
Phone calls. We might have some phone calls coming in.
God, that'd be fun.
We're all over the map.
We really are. This chrono stage threw everybody into chaos because they're not in a traditional bivouac. There's no service. They even took the riders' phones away, we heard. So they are putting these guys, isolating them out in the desert.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to give him a tent, a sleeping bag, like one kind of dehydrated meal that's supposed to be 24 hours worth of food. I don't know what that is. And they told him to bring a lighter in case they get cold, build a fire.
Start the stove to cook your food.
Yeah, but not a lot of amenities. And they actually have a list of like what they're giving the guys, and it's pretty minimal.
It's like two things. It's like a tent and a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And you're done. That's all we're giving you.
Water, 12 bottles of water.
Pretty brutal. So ranking-wise, some pretty exciting racing today. It was an inverted start, so top 17 Rally GP riders were flipped from yesterday's position, which meant that Beretta had to lead out, and then our top overall contenders yesterday got to start last, which really put them in an advantageous position.
Yes, especially on a stage like this going into the big dunes. And, we saw Adrien Van Beveren come smoking through with pretty solid time.
Yeah, Adrien loves the sand. Admittedly, he's done a bunch of sand racing in his past, and he came through first, 1 minute 21 seconds ahead, virtually in front of American Ricky Brabec, his teammate on the Honda. So Honda goes 1-2 virtually on the stage so far. And then Toby Price had a great day riding with the guys up front. He got third place today, 1 minute and 49 seconds back. So really a tight gap between those top three, which we like to see. Only about 110 or 120, 30K left in this stage to finish up tomorrow. So
and keep in
could be
mind,
exciting.
these guys were out there for 6.5 hours yesterday.
So, I mean, this is including the refueling times, and they had some longer refuelings. I think they gave them 30 minutes and 40 minutes to refuel.
Give them a little
two
rest.
refuelings. But still 6.5 hours is for sure the longest stage we've seen in recent years.
And two refuelings is sort of a key point because fuel actually became a pretty deciding factor in this stage for some people.
Yeah, it sounds like Pablo Quintanilla ran out of fuel before the second refueling, I believe.
Yeah.
And so he lost a good chunk of time. I would say he's well over an hour before he was able to get moving again.
Yeah. The reason fuel is becoming an issue is the sand is lighter, softer, deeper, and the bikes are having to use more fuel to get through it. In fact, they shortened the car stage today because of the same concern. So they didn't do the same for the bike. So they're like, yeah, you guys suffer.
Yeah, it sounds like the organization did a calculation based on fuel consumption last year.
When it was raining.
And when it was raining
When it
and
was wet
hard.
and raining, yeah.
And so this stuff was a lot more packed. And now this year it's soft, deep, and everybody's using a lot more fuel. They saw it in the stage yesterday, and they realized everybody used a lot more, and so maybe a little miscalculation by them.
Well, held. Everybody else got through except Pablo, so he must have been just really stretching that thing out.
Yeah, and Pablo's a bigger guy. He's big, kind
strong
of big,
guy.
tall guy, and so he probably used a little bit more fuel than the rest of the crew.
That's a tough break for him. He was having such a great race.
Yeah, and the new Honda it looks like the tanks are a little slimmer, a little smaller than the old one, so maybe they reduced fuel capacity a little bit, and it may have bit him on this one because I think he ran out in less than 185 kilometers, which is just a shade over 100 miles.
And when you're
20 miles maybe.
When you're developing a rally bike, you want 200K, you want kind of sort of threshold there.
I think the minimum from the organizer is supposed to be 250 kilometers
fuel capacity.
Yeah, but I mean, they normally won't go that long in Dune stage.
Yeah. They're wide open surfing this stuff.
Yeah.
But well, too bad for Pablo Quintanilla. Toby Price, like we said, third place on the day. Daniel Sanders, his country mate in the Red Bull Gas Factory racing rider, drops a little bit more time. He's 3 minutes and 32 seconds back in fourth place.
Yeah, it's still the best stage we've seen from Sanders in pretty much this whole race. I think he's finally starting to come on here in the dunes.
Yeah. And then, excuse me, Husqvarna Factory Racing Luciano Benavides after an engine change yesterday, which drops him 15 minutes back, further out of contention for the overall win. He had a good ride today in fifth place, 6 minutes back of the leader, so another 3 minutes back. Here we're starting to see the gap open up a little bit.
Yeah, Ross Branch finished in sixth, or well, I shouldn't say finished. He's currently sitting in sixth at this checkpoint.
We're programmed to say finished, but really this is just a virtual standing as if they were crossing a waypoint on a normal day.
Yep. And virtually this puts Ross out of the overall lead.
Correct.
And moves Ricky Brabec up into
overall general virtual standings.
Yes.
All hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
We're a hypothetical podcast video series. Kevin Benavides coming in behind Branch in 7th place, currently at the remote bivouac. Stefan Svitko, again, top 10 finish so far for Svitko. Great ride this year from him. He has really stepped it up after being in the rally for 11 years.
Yeah.
How many times has he done this? 12 years?
Not quite sure, but he's a former podium finisher, so it's not completely surprising that he's
it's great to see him up there.
Very consistent for a non-factory guy. I think he's the top non-factory rider that's been consistently. I think he had one bad stage and he lost a big chunk of time, so
good to see him
his
up there.
overall isn't quite as good as his results indicate, but
still awesome.
Yep.
And then Nacho in 9th place, and Joan Beretta, who led out today. Strong ride by Joan. 10th place overall today, so far.
Yeah.
So far. I keep saying so far.
He's plus 29 minutes with some bonus time. I think he had 7 minutes of bonus time. So to put it in perspective, starting first, Beretta lost roughly 36-ish minutes to those guys.
Which is not a terrible ride, given the location
the
they're riding
stage and
to.
through these dunes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the dune stuff will suck time out of your lead in a hurry if you're leading out.
But I think the big story thus far is Nacho Cornejo losing about 15 minutes to Adrien, and about 14 of that is to Ricky Brabec.
Right.
So that gives Ricky he's sitting now in a really good position in the general classification.
Yeah, if we look at general classifications, they do have virtual general rankings as well up here on the video. Ricky Brabec, you can see him leading the general classifications by about 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes over Ross Branch at the moment. If the race stopped today, that's where they would be sitting. Then Nacho Cornejo would be in 3rd, now over 6.5 minutes back. So the top 3 still really tight. And then actually 4th place getting even a little closer. Now it's 13 minutes back to 4th place, where it was like 18 yesterday. So really our top 4 consolidating time together. And the rest of the guys are not making up that much time. We still have 28 minutes back to 5th.
Yeah, Adrien van Beveren is moved into striking distance here. So anyone within that top 4 is not far out of being, overall leader.
And that's 3 Hondas and a Hero.
Yep.
that's a dominant podium position by Honda at the moment.
Yeah, and the first KTM is Toby Price, and he's roughly 28 minutes back, so he's not quite within striking distance of those guys.
He's still got a lot of work to do.
Unfortunate for him. Yeah,
it is. Him and Kevin, they're basically stacked up right next to each other, virtually the same amount of time behind. They're almost tied on the general clock today.
Yep. So this is going to be interesting. We aren't even to the rest day yet, so
which is where the race starts. People say.
Yeah.
Today's chrono stage was confusing to us as we got into it, but now that we're getting results and it's kind of shaken out, we're starting to understand. But we got some great content from the field from Anthony. We finally got good service on the highway where he can upload some videos. Also, our buddy Ashley Presents, who, if you are watching the NBC recap shows, highlight shows, Ashley is the voice on those. Plus, he is the pun master. Like if you want some entertaining commentary, listen to the NBC sports coverage highlight shows and tune into Ashley. He's fantastic. Both of those guys teamed up and got us some uploads overnight and early this morning on some stuff. So we're going to play you some clips from the start of the stage right now because, whoa, it's crazy.
Yep.
They're doing like drag race starts with cars.
Yeah.
So let's cue up Anthony right now and we'll get you some really cool insight into how this race started.
Checking in from the start of stage 6, the chrono stage. It's full gas out here. They're starting cars alongside the bikes. There you go. on another track. It's going to be a big day talking to people. It's basically the longest stage that they might have ever done. Usually the bikers are starting early and, you know, they're done by 2, 3, but they're going to be riding an extra couple of hours. Lots of dunes, super physical. News just in. Skyler's out of the race. He blew an engine. I just saw him get out of the helicopter. Just not his year, it seems like. But the one thing he did say is that it's a lot of dunes. I guess last year they took them through this area. It was big dunes, but then down into those lake bed shot zones where you could just sit down and take a break. But after 40, 50 kilometers, it sounds like they hadn't even crossed one of those, and it was super physical. So a bummer for Skyler, real bummer. In other news, the guys have had their phones taken away, so they're really trying to silo them out from the rest of the world. They're told to pack a lighter. The food, I think, they're probably eating cat food for dinner. They need to cook it themselves. The bivouacs aren't catered. Beyond that, interesting note, I saw Pablo Quintanilla put chapstick on the top of his goggles. Don't know what that does, but that's what he was doing. The heat, what I can say personally, is it's way hotter in this part of the country. Yeah, it's going to be real physical out there, so we'll see if we learn any more before the end of tomorrow. But yeah, I think a lot of uncertainty, and lots of guys are just kind of going to see how it goes. A few guys in a position to see if they can get back up within reach before rest day. And yeah, see you dunes. It's epic here. There's dunes stacked on top of dunes here. Pretty wild country. Speak to you soon.
Awesome stuff.
I can't believe the car sounds in the background. Like,
Yes.
it didn't stop. No wonder they're using all the gas. They're just pinned for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that the literally cars and bikes taking off side by side, drag racing off the starting line, and of course the cars go one way, the bikes go another way, so they have 2 different road books starting from the same location. But a lot of good info from Anthony right there. That's
Where is
cool.
Anthony going? He's just walking out into the desert. I hope he's okay.
Maybe he's trying to sneak into one of those bivouacs out there. He's going to hike it.
Maybe. He's a long ways from those cars behind him. He just kept walking. I'm like, Anthony, are you okay? Do you have water?
Yeah.
Where's he
Super
going?
Cool. Yep.
Great stuff. Great insight into the race. And also the big headline there, like Skyler Howes blew an engine or had a mechanical where his engine stopped working. 35K into the stage. Such a bummer.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. And, you know, that's this race, right? We have 2 Hondas in the top 2 overall. And, one of their factory bikes just blew up an engine. So could
just
be
making anxiety where it doesn't need to be.
Anything can happen, right?
Yeah, Skyler was in no danger of having a blown engine before today, and then all just happened.
Yeah, the Husqvarna lost an engine yesterday. Honda lost an engine today.
And you think of the engine load they're going into now with this sand. I mean, these guys are going to be pretty on the gas all day for 4.5 hours of engine runtime.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe more than that.
And I mean, we don't know for a fact that the Honda actually lost an engine
failure. We know it was
maybe it was electrical,
technical
maybe it was
problem.
something
True.
other than that. But yeah, the fact is there was a mechanical, and it can happen at any time. I mean, it could be Ricky Brabec tomorrow or Van Beveren, and this whole race could be completely turned upside down.
For sure. We've seen mechanical sort of, I don't know, like contagion just start spreading in this bivouac, and I hope it doesn't happen. I hope the racing stays tight.
And no service tonight.
So you could just be sitting there with no information.
No, they're not changing the oil. They don't know, if the mechanics can't text the guys and say, "Hey, check this, look at this."
Yeah, right. Sounds super easy. Let's check in with some more riders from the start line. Here's Nacho Cornejo. Great insight from him before this race starts.
Nacho starting 6th today. Is that kind of where you wanted to be for this chrono?
I wanted to start a little bit more back, but it's just how things came to us in the last couple of stages, so I just have to deal with it. I think we can still make a solid stage, and we'll try to do our best in the chrono stage, new format, so we'll see how it goes.
What'd you pack for food?
Just a couple extra snacks, like whatever I drink for the refuelings, energy gels, some carbs and protein bars, some salt pills. So yeah, mainly that. They will have some food for us, but I didn't want it to be super heavy on the bike, so I prefer to just grab a couple of things and just eat whatever they gonna give us in the bivouac where we stop.
Iron guts.
We'll see.
Good luck.
Thank you.
These guys don't know what they're getting into a lot of times. We'll see.
Oh, definitely. I think we had a clip from Skyler too. That was kind of our unfortunately last one of the rally.
We do
here.
the last clip of Skyler in the race. He looks so happy and positive. But let's hear from Skyler. He gets a little insight into what he expected to happen today.
Yep.
Skyler Howes, start of the chrono stage. What's the strategy?
Well, I think these minutes and seconds we've been fighting for can come full circle here in this chrono stage because, if you get stopped before the cutoff time, your time just continues to run. So I guess the strategy for everyone is to just ride as far as possible and then get stopped after the time. So we'll see how it goes. I think we're going to be out in the desert for a long time today, so we'll probably be really tired after all these dunes.
And what are you eating for dinner?
Well, I brought some pre-made, freeze-dried meals that I have stuffed into my back, and I have all my other snacks, my cookies and gels and gummies and energy gels and all that kind of stuff. I brought so much stuff that's in my jacket. It's really heavy, so that's going to make things a little bit extra challenging today. I'm doubled the weight, so yeah, I'm all stacked up for all the food that we got to sleep with in the back. We got no showers, no toilets, only a tent, so it's going to be an interesting day and night.
Good luck.
Thanks.
No toilet.
No toilet. I don't. They just dig a hole in the dunes, or see how that goes.
I don't know. Skyler, would you be more team Skyler or team Nacho here? Would you be packing as much food as you could, or would you just be like, I'll just deal with it when I get there?
Yeah, I mean, Skyler's he's a bigger guy, and
he
probably
needs more
needs
food,
a little more fuel. But he said he was double the weight, so maybe that was just just a hair too much load on the engine, having all that food on board. And
yeah, the engineers at Honda didn't calculate for
right.
your food load today, Skyler.
That is very Honda to
calculate that.
Calculate rider weight and involved in the engine mapping. So maybe there's a little miscalculation with that extra food on board.
We're joking. Sorry, Skyler.
Got a little too lean.
Sorry about your race being over. That's a super bummer.
For Skyler, and
Something
maybe
out of
we
his
can get
hands.
him on the phone and
That'd be great.
Tease him a little bit once he's over the heartbreak.
Yeah, exactly. Luciano Benavides also suffered some heartbreak yesterday with a blown engine, not a blown engine, but an engine that kept turning off. And then he had to limp it in, lost a bunch of time doing that, and then a 15-minute penalty. So here's Luciano before the start of the stage as well.
Luciano, what happened yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was a really tough day for me. I was really motivated to go into the dunes. It's my favorite terrain, and normally I can go for a stage win. And yeah, I was feeling super great, and then my engine broke, and luckily I make it to the end. But yeah, it was really difficult to arrive. Had no power and was really scary in the dunes. But at the end, yeah, I arrived. Luckily it was yesterday, and it was a short stage. But yeah, of course now it's not the best position for the starting today. And of course 15 minutes penalty. But yeah, it's like that. We need to accept, and yeah, now it's a new engine, new day. Everything is good. So looking for a really long days in the sun, in the dunes. So yeah, I will try my best again, of course. and this is Dakar. It's tough and to change quick and adapt and forget about the mistakes or the problems you had before.
Do you think the group is going to bunch up at the front, or what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think we will ride in a group by half of the stage to the end. I think we will ride. Maybe it will be two groups or one. I don't know. Depends on how fast the guys from behind can come. Of course, the guys that start really on the back have a good opportunity today and a really good chance to make some really good time. That was my idea to do it. It was not possible. But yeah, I think anyways it will be really, really tough for the physically, mentally, and we need to really take care about this, about the also to be really good and hydrated, and it's gonna be tough for sure.
Good luck.
Thank you.
A lot of insight from Luciano.
Yeah,
He's
good
bummed
insight.
He's bummed about yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. You can hear in his voice. He's not he's a little bit defeated, and that's tough to just give away time for a mechanical like that. But
This is Dakar.
this is Dakar.
That's the saying.
Yeah.
Everybody has to keep repeating that mantra whenever bad crap happens.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is Dakar. It is what it
Very
is.
good. Well, and I think we got some reaction from the refueling out there. Actually, there was a couple refuelings that were in the same location, and some of the media was able to get in and get to these refuelings. So I think Anthony even got us a little bit of info from there.
Yeah, we have some
We
top
got-
contender video clips here. Number one, to explain, these guys went out from a start next to the cars. They split off from that course. Then they do a big sort of like drop down loop up to a highway,
Yeah.
refuel. Then they do another one of these big, huge loops, and it's all dunes and these shots, which are just these like old dry lake beds. Back up to the same area of refueling, and then they kind of cross over the top next to that highway and get to the bivouac area. So the same refueling area was kind of used twice almost.
Yeah, it's like a big odd shaped lollipop, I guess you would say.
Right.
And,
So here is some insight into Toby Price's first part of the stage here and what he's going through out there.
How's it been going out there?
Oh, she's a long day. Other than that, it's all been pretty good. Adrien caught me, I think, about 50 kilometres in, and I've been trying to stick with him all day, and then we've just been catching more and more guys through the group. I think the front group is kind of keeping a good pace, and they'll get through maybe to the last one, and we might just miss it in that second group. So yeah, we'll wait and see. All in all, the bike feels good. Definitely starting to feel a little tired. I can't say I feel like I'm brand new and fresh, but yeah, still having fun, enjoying it. So just need to stay in the race and see how we go.
You're not pushing too hard by the sounds of it?
Nah, not going crazy. Luckily, like I say, Adrian's caught us, and he's running a pretty good pace. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to get through as well. So where he's on the crest and everything, I can see what he's doing when he backs off, and if he's still, I can still see him. I can then keep full gas, and I stay pretty close. So it's a little bit of an advantage for me, but he's doing a good job and pushing that front bit there. And now Sanders is with us, and we're just going to try and get as far as we can. So it's cool. Good to see.
Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Some good insight into the strategy of dune riding in front of or behind somebody.
Yeah, definitely. And, Toby's a veteran, and he's just letting Adrien go out there and take all the drops and the crests and whatnot. And then he can key off of him. So saving himself some energy and some effort.
While still going really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Very
it's amazing the effort that you put in to lead through the dunes versus following is unbelievable. It's such a different game. You're following a guy and you're like, oh, I can go faster than this. This he's going slow. Then you get out front and you're like, ooh,
You're
hit the brakes. Yeah,
surprises around every turn.
So that's great insight from Toby, and he looks like he's maybe a little beat down, but hey, I think they all are at this point.
I'd be
you
down,
know,
and all I do is sit in a studio and talk about this.
Right.
And that's hard on me.
Yeah.
You could see everybody else. If you're watching on video, you can see everybody else milling around. You know, they're kind of hanging out, getting some water. And this is a longer refueling break, we think, than normal, because they're giving these guys maybe a little bit of time to reset, make sure they're hydrated because it is hot, and try to keep everybody, you know, accounted for at least.
Yeah. You know, the other thing he mentioned was he wasn't sure at that point. He wasn't sure if they were all going to make that last bivouac.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
He thought his group might get stopped a little bit early and be separated from the front group
Right.
in the final bivouac, which wasn't the case. They were able to push through and all make it to the top 12 or so guys were all able to make it to the last bivouac or the furthest bivouac. Right. So that's the first we've heard like some concern of whether, you know, they were going to be separated at night, which I kind of wish the top 10 were
a little more separated,
were in two different bivouacs. So then we have a little drama tomorrow, but it worked out.
It worked out for them. That's because they're all going so fast, and ended up, you know, the guys leading are going fast enough to gap, but the guys coming back can make up enough time to really like bring that group together. Here's Ross Branch in the same spot. And you all know Ross Branch. He's going to be a breath of fresh air for everybody.
How's it going, Rossi?
Good. Really tough day, like they said it was gonna be. So, gonna be interesting last 100 Ks, that's for sure. But same for everybody. So we just gotta keep pushing it through. Luckily enough, I'm with a good group of guys now. So at least if I can stay with them, we can have some fun tonight in the bivouac.
They do stick together, and they do rely on each other out there, even though they're, you know, fierce competitors. At some point on these 600K stage or 500Ks, what they've ridden probably up to this point, like, you're happy to be around people you can trust.
Yeah. And, you know, you got to love Ross Branch, because all he's worried about is like who he's going to hang out with at the bivouac. And
he's like, hopefully I can hang out with somebody I have fun with.
Hang out with some cool guys. We can joke around a little bit.
There's got to be somebody out there Ross Branch just doesn't like.
I don't know, man.
We're going to dig up some dirt on Ross Branch.
Yeah.
His mortal enemy, which doesn't seem like he has any.
We got to try to get Ross on the phone. That would be a good one. Maybe we can
definitely
reach out.
I would love to talk to Ross.
Get a phone call.
Let's do it.
Him.
Talk to your boys at Hero.
All right.
So great stuff from insights into the middle of this crazy stage. They did race 515K.
Yep.
Before they get to that bivouac that they ended up getting to. I think it was bivouac F.
Yeah, they had them all
like
labeled by letters, and
there's 8
a whole bunch of
bivouacs
them.
out
So
there.
yeah, they made it to kilometer 514 of 625. So
Pretty epic.
Tomorrow they're going to be starting at 1 minute intervals. So they kind of regroup everybody and then start in the same order that they came in. Wow. So however, whatever group they're with and whatever, it's basically resetting at 1 minute intervals. And they have just a shade over 110 kilometers to ride. So basically a sprint through the dunes
to get to the finish of this stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it could shake things up a little bit, because all of a sudden there's some more gaps. So there's some more time to be had. So depending on how they came in, what order they came in, and maybe there was a little bit of
jockeying for position.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're coming into the final bivouac, right? And you're like, okay, do I let him lead in or do I hang back? And maybe if you're with a group of 5 guys, maybe you, you know, have a little tip over.
Check your fuel really quick.
Yeah, stop and let those other 4 go in front of you.
Yeah, because if you can start 5th tomorrow for a 100K sprint, that's way better than leading out. You can make some time.
I think there's definitely a little bit of strategy to be had if guys are riding in groups and they know where the guys around them are. So, I mean, that's what I would do for sure. I would be like, okay, I'm going to hang back and give myself, because if you're riding with 5 guys, that's 5 minutes to the first guy that you can try to
gate
close up. I mean, it's only 100 kilometers, so there's not a massive amount of time to be had in 100 kilometers, but
yeah,
they're gonna be going for it. And
we're talking minutes now in the overall ranking, not tens of minutes. So any minute you can get is money now.
And this is the kind of the final push to the rest day. So they're going to want to come into the rest day in the best possible position.
For sure. There's a map up excuse me, there's a map up on YouTube right now of where these boys and women, we're going to talk about some female racers today too. You can see this is the waypoint 513 basically on the course, kilometer 513, that the top 10 or 12 guys are stopped at now. Mm-hmm. The next one back on the course is around 462, and that's where our buddy Mason Klein is, with the second sort of group out on the course.
Yeah, so roughly 50 kilometers between these two bivouacs, and Mason started up front with those guys, he started in a group with the top guys. I think he finished 5th yesterday.
Yeah, so he would have been in the middle of that front group.
Yep. It looks like we were watching the tracking. It looks like he had to stop for a little while out there and deal with something just before one of the bivouacs, and ended up getting stopped. He's about 50 kilometers short of the lead pack.
Mm-hmm. And maybe had some more technical problems on the cove. We don't know yet. We probably won't know until tomorrow night.
Yeah. We got no information about that. But Mason, he's a soldier, man. He's been powering through and dealing with all these issues like a champ, really.
Yeah, he really has. Good head on his shoulders and just taking the punches as they come.
And getting that bike to the finish. I mean,
he's taken a lot of punches.
He could have just put his hands up and gotten a helicopter and left that thing in the desert a few times already. True. So gotta give it up to Mason for keeping that thing going.
For sure.
He's got a extra. Yeah, this is the question mark is like, how's it work tomorrow, right?
How's it work tomorrow? So he's 50K back on the course. Essentially, everybody's going to start at the same time.
Yep.
In their entrance to a bivouac, but 1 minute apart from that bivouac. So
yeah. And what order did he come into that bivouac, right? He maybe wasn't the first guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's potential if his bike is in good operating condition. That's the other thing, is he doesn't have a mechanic crew.
Yeah, no.
There at the bivouac.
If he has issues with this cove now, he's on his own. Well, he's been on his own fixing it before too.
Yeah. But he's got 50 kilometers with tracks laid down. And the other thing is like, okay, weather, if the wind comes up tonight and blows all those tracks away, then they're going to have to reopen that 50 kilometers of stage. If it's calm, then there's going to be tracks for those guys to follow. Right. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be the first guy out of the bivouac. I don't know where he stands in that situation.
Didn't look like he was first in there. Yeah.
He's got an extra 50 kilometers to
try to grab some more time, which would be fun if he can get into that upper ranking in the overall in this stage 6 again.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was stopped for so long and his time was running that I think he lost a lot of time. But it'll be interesting. I think we got a little clip with a little interview with Mason from.
We do. We have Mason.
Last night,
do. We have some stuff from Mason last night. Again, in the pits, working on his bike before this 48-hour chrono stage kicks off, and it's always good to check in with Mason. So let's cue that up and hear from Mason.
All right, you ready?
Mason Klein, how was your day?
All right, stage 5. Started the day knowing that it was a day I could push. I knew the bike was ready to rip, from the day before. We made sure everything was all good. Bike was all good again today, no problems. Besides, at the refuel on the liaison, on the 500-kilometer liaison, there was 2 refuels. Myself and a few other riders, including Arth Noah, one of the guys that comes to America and trains with me. You open the gas cap and you can see it's filled with sand. 30 kilometers into the special, my rear tank wasn't working. I had to switch to my front tank. That was like half full on gas. And it's pretty stressful, obviously, because you're thinking, I got to ride slower now because you're trying to save your gas so you can finish. It's 120 kilometers in the dunes. Got to be careful. I made it. Really glad I made it. I'm happy with the result. Let's do it again tomorrow.
What do you think of this chrono stage?
I'm going to go as far as I can, and I'm going to bring a lighter, and hope the food is good. I think it's like an MRE they give you. They give you 10. Pretty much getting... I don't actually know anything about it because I don't go to the meeting. I was planning to go later tonight, 7:30, I think. But yeah, should be a lot like today, the rest of the rally, I hope.
What do you think about riding dunes for 2 or 3 extra hours tomorrow?
That's all right.
You're fit? You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We're not the only ones confused about the 48-hour chrono. I don't really know.
That's great. That's great stuff. So you heard Mason kind of recapping his stage 5, which he had a really good stage 5, and some interesting insight into the.
Just look at him. Look how happy he is.
Big thumbs up from Mason. Insight into maybe the guys getting some sand in their fuel.
Yeah, explain that. That's not, he didn't go through sand and it fell in his fuel. This is from a refueling truck.
Yep.
Or a bucket somewhere. And he looks in the back and he can see sand in the bottom of his fuel tank.
Yeah. And this is an interesting thing because, they're filling on these refuelings, they're fueling up from drums in the desert that the organization has sent out there. So maybe he got the bottom of a drum. There was some sand. I think in Saudi, obviously, there's sand everywhere. So
it seems
maybe
like,
sucked up some sand into his rear fuel tank,
and it ended up not working very well while it was out there, and he lost fuel pressure from that tank.
Could have clogged a fuel tank, but this kind of leads me to think, okay, well, Luciano had a engine failure on that stage, and if some of these guys started getting sand in their fuel, then it can what happens is the fuel tank, the filter on the pump can clog a little bit, and then
lose a fuel pump.
You start losing fuel pressure.
Yeah.
And then when you lose fuel pressure, the bike leans out, and then you can damage the engine.
Ah, I got you.
And they have a fuel pressure light on the
like a
dashboard,
warning.
right? So if you're paying attention and you're having a problem with your rear fuel pump, you can switch to the other one.
Got it.
Something like that. And then the other thing with Pablo running short today, and Skyler losing engine too. This could be something with the fuel at this point,
Yeah, which is, we've seen, if you remember 3 years ago, Andrew Short went out early in the race with a fuel issue on the Yamaha where it was basically, a third of it was just water, and it was just, his bike just wouldn't run with it, and he couldn't figure it out. And he's like, oh, wait, my fuel's water, not fuel.
Yeah.
So fuel out of their control, out of their hands, something that could take somebody out of the race.
Right. Yeah. I mean, fuel's a big deal. Like these bikes are pretty high power, high tech engines, and they need, they set them up to run on pretty crappy fuel, but if there's sand in there and
they still need the pressure of that crappy fuel.
Yeah. They need fuel, right? The fuel is what keeps them cool. And when it starts getting hot, they're under heavy load in the dunes, and the fuel pressure drops.
It'd be interesting if we can get a hold of Skyler, maybe talk to him, see if he can give us some insight into what actually failed on the bike, and if it was related to fuel, that would be quite a story.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Some people don't have the chance to replace engines, and they just have to keep racing all day. And these are the Moto guys, and we don't talk about them enough. We know, we're getting in the comments on YouTube that we don't give these guys enough credit. But honestly, sometimes they're not done racing by the time we're done recording.
Yes, this is true.
Guys,
a lot of them,
these guys are suffering all day.
Yeah, a lot of them are still out on course, and to be honest, they don't have much time to talk to us because they're coming in and working on their bikes and preparing their stuff. And
they do deserve their own show, their own credit. They are the absolute warriors of this sport, bringing it back to the original way it was.
Yeah.
And there's nothing but respect for them. And we do have an interview today with the leader. Two interviews. We got 2 interviews today.
We did yesterday with our guy with the black eye, which, oh man,
he's a hero right now on Instagram. Go on our Instagram, Dakar Rally Daily, and check out Lee Bors, the freestyler, who's also a very accomplished Dakar racer. I think he finished 31st overall last year he was running 31st before he broke his back.
Yeah.
And cracked some ribs. This year he just got Rocky Balboa stitches in his face on course and kept racing like an absolute beast.
Duct taped his eye open.
That's such a good story.
What an animal.
So here's some general virtual classification rankings, actually general rankings, after stage 5 for the Moto course. So we have Tobias Ebster. We talked about him yesterday. He's Heinz Kinnegartner's nephew. Heinz Kinnegartner, the first world champion of KTM.
Yeah.
Had a great rally career after that. He was really one of the pioneers in that world for KTM, and this is his nephew. So the racing's in the blood.
Yeah, Kenny's, he's kind of credited with saving KTM, from the bankruptcy back in the early 90s. He kind of introduced Stefan Peer to KTM. And, Mr. Peer was going to basically dismantle the company and sell it off. And Kenny
said, wait, there's something here.
As the legend goes, Kenny,
rose from the ashes
into keeping KTM and, the
rest is history.
Yeah, turning into what it is today. So
ready to race.
Heinz Kindergartner, there may have been no KTM dynasty in Dakar.
And no Tobias Ebster racing a KTM in the Moto class to the virtual lead right now. We should check out the virtual standings for today. See where he's sitting. I don't know if they have them scored, but as of yesterday, Tobias was 11 minutes ahead of second place. Yep. Jerome Martini. Pretty tight for Moto to be, well, not as tight as last year. Last year we were separated by seconds. Sharan Moore and Yavi Vega, they were really tight. But the top 3 within 15 minutes is pretty cool. Top 4 within 15 minutes, it's pretty awesome. It's a good race.
And they're going good this year because
they are.
I mean, Ebster is leading Rally 2.
Yeah, I'll switch to Rally 2 right here. There he is. And he's only 30 seconds ahead in Rally 2. So, he's in a race of his life in Rally 2, like neck and neck in Rally 2 over Romain Dumontier. And then he's leading the Moto class too, which is pretty cool.
I think he can't really care about Rally 2. I think he just has to take it as it comes because if you
he's got enough on his mind.
Yeah, if you start racing with Romain Dumontier, who has full support and a motorhome and everything else,
he might be outgunned
go
at some
sideways.
point.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Tobias last night. This is a clip from him last night in the pits as he gets ready for this chrono stage and kind of gives him, a little bit of spotlight here for a Moto guy.
We're here with Tobias Ebster, currently leading the Moto class. How's your rally been going?
Perfectly. First participation, leading the Moto category. Today I won the Rally 2 category 2, finished 10th overall. I'm happy, I'm super pumped.
Right on. And so Heinz Kindergartner was your uncle. Tell us that story.
Yes, so I kind of have it in the blood to go racing. I was racing motocross since the last 20 years. And a few years ago, he came to me and said, if I want to try rally, and I said yes. So I did some European rallies, but also the Desert Challenge. I won there my first World Championship race, or World Championship rally in the Rally 2 category, which gave me the golden ticket for coming here. Here I am, leading Moto. In 2 days is rest day. I'm pumped.
Right on. How are you finding Moto?
Oh, I think it's the real Rally Dakar, because this is the real spirit. Like, everybody is coming late at night and working on the bike and just have the spirit, going to bed very late, like at 12 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. to go riding again. And I think this is the tough category of the sports, because we have to do everything by ourselves. We don't have mechanics, we don't have physio, we don't have cookers like this. We have nothing. We have to set up our tent every day. We have to put it down every day in the morning. So it's a tough category, of course. So it's for the real adventure, let's say.
And what do you think of this chrono stage? Do you have a strategy, or you're just going to try and get to rest day?
Not at all. Like, tomorrow I can start as 10th, which is pretty good. So I'm out here very early, and I kind of do what the other guys are doing. Like, I don't know what to do. First time, but also for them the first time. So I think we're going to try to come as far as we can, so we can have a good rest day, let's say. So yeah, we will see.
Right on. Keep it upright. Nice work.
Thank you.
Like a true Moto guy, he's got a spare nut on his necklace there, just in case he needs extra parts.
Yeah.
That's probably like a special nut for his KTM.
Super cool to hear from him. And
what an attitude.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see he's in the Moto bivouac, and there's literally his fellow competitors behind him, fighting with a tire, struggling to change a tire. And
a rally moose stuffed
into
a tire.
If you've ever changed a Michelin desert tire with a rally moose, it's not the easiest thing to do, right?
It's not something you want to do every day you get back at midnight.
No, definitely not. And I didn't see, I was trying to look on the map here to see if we can see where he is, which bivouac he's at
the
moment, but I don't quite see him.
Looks like virtually 18th at right behind Bradley Cox in the ranking, but there's really no time associated with that. So I don't know if that's actually accurate. But if we can see checkpoints or not.
He's in a bivouac at what kilometer and whatnot. That's kind of our benchmark.
We'll look up that. Let's while you're digging around there, doing your job, I'm gonna pull up another interview with American Moto guy Kyle McCoy. Kyle's been out there fighting the good fight for the Moto guys. Here's Kyle at the start of the stage today.
Kyle McCoy, Moto master. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. You know, it's a long race. We're not even halfway done, and today is it's like a double stage, 2 stages in one, 600 plus kilometers of sand dunes, and I'm gonna sleep out there in the desert somewhere. But this is kind of more my style. I like the dunes much more. I like the navigation. I like the endurance part of it. So today's much more my style of a stage.
You've done the Dakar before.
Yeah.
How's this most week compare?
It's been really hard. I did it in 2020 with a mechanic, and of course doing it as my own mechanic is much harder. But on top of that, the first 2 stages were really brutal and way harder than the first 2 stages in 2020. Yesterday it kind of backed off a little bit, even though we rode a long transfer. But yeah, it's been much harder so far.
Bike's good, body's good. Looking forward to rest day.
That's it. Bike's in great shape. I have no issues, and I'm ready to take a break, even though my break will be at least half the day working on the bike. But yeah, I'm looking forward to rest day.
Good luck out there.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
Good to hear from Kyle out there fighting the good fight. Also a very good climb riding gear ambassador, Kyle McCoy. So
yes,
I'm obviously a fan.
Very cool. And it looks like Kyle is at a bivouac at kilometer 363.
Yeah, so not too far back from the main front runners. You know, he's a couple 100K behind the absolute cream of the crop out there, which is not bad. He's out there continuing on. No problems for Kyle.
And you know,
which is the goal for these guys. Like, you got to get through.
I'm looking at the map right now, and the map I'm looking at, there's still dudes out there. Like,
there's definitely still dudes out there.
Not at a bivouac, but in the desert, still riding.
And it's dark.
Yes. And I don't even know which direction they're going, but yeah, it's
this guy.
Yeah, he's so yeah, it's a bit of a kind of a littered mess out there, but I think, you know, they'll hopefully get everybody in, and I'm refreshing my map so I can see. But yeah, there's a few guys still out in the.
This is the pit that Kyle's at here. This 363.
Yep.
So if you think about that, he's got 300K almost to go in the morning.
Yeah, he's really only about halfway through the stage.
He's really doing 2 full days.
It's a big day for him tomorrow again, for a lot of these guys. And the crazy thing is after this stage, they're going to put everybody on airplanes.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
To Riyadh.
Right. You get done with this stage, all the bike competitors load their bikes into transport vehicles, or their team, I think, can also transport it for them. And then their teams are hitting the road. They got to drive all the way back up to Riyadh, or they're already on the road.
1,000 kilometers from where they are now to Riyadh, where the rest day is.
And these guys all have a voucher, plane ticket, jump on a flight. There's like 4 chartered flights heading out, and they fly up to there and get shuttled from the airport back to their.
What happens if you miss the flight? Like, are you you don't get a rest day or what? You have to hitchhike to.
Got to get on a camel truck.
Yeah,
find a camel farmer, rancher to get you over there. That's the deal.
But good stuff.
All right, I kind of like that the stage is a little funky today, so we can spend a little more time talking about some of the other classes. We talked about, you know, the general classifications in this Rally 2 a little bit, the original Moto, but one competition we haven't talked about is the women's trophy. And we've talked about this in the past with legends like Laya Sands, and Kristen Landman last year was racing a Moto. So she was in the original by Moto class and the women's class. This year we have Jane Daniels is leading the overall classification. Here's her standings right now. You can see there's only 2 women racing this year in this class, but they are out there doing it. It's only a 16-minute gap, 17 minutes between these two. So plenty of racing to go for them to be bringing it down to the wire, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, really cool. And Shane Daniels is a legend in the world of enduro.
Yeah.
She's a multi-time women's enduro world champion.
Yep. And that seems to be the trend we keep seeing. We've seen, Laya's the same. Kristen Landman's raced a lot of hard enduro. She's got plenty of experience there. I think Sandra Gomez raced 2 years ago. This is my memory not working for me, but all these women that are extremely talented enduro racers, they get that rally bug like the rest of us, and they're like, let's go give this a shot. Seems like a great idea. Let's check in. We have some interviews from Jane last night as she was in the pits, and she's under the Fantic rig, which is an Italian brand, which is running essentially Yamaha equipment, but their own sort of brand of the Yamaha product line. So here's Jane from the pits talking to our guy, Anthony, on the ground.
Jane Daniels here, 4-time Enduro World Champ, racing her first Dakar. How's it been going?
Yeah, it's not going too bad. Slowly getting the hang of the navigation. I have made a couple of errors earlier on this week, but got to start somewhere. The bike's a bit heavier than the Enduro bike, carrying a lot more fuel, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. The landscape and stuff that we go over here is unreal. I thought we did a lot in Enduro, but this definitely tops that with going around all like the volcano explosions and stuff. Yeah, you have to kind of be here to appreciate how nice it is and how vast the actual environment is and how many kilometers you cover in a day. I've never covered this many.
What drew you to rally?
A bucket list thing, definitely. Fantic gave me the opportunity to come here and experience it, try it out a little bit first, see if I liked it, and I did. Yeah, it's not something I ever imagined being able to do at the back of the van with my dad, because that's pretty much how I've done most of my racing, just at the back of his van. So yeah, it's a little bit on a bigger scale here, so no, thanks to Fantic I'm here and yeah, experiencing it for myself.
Is this Fantic a dedicated, factory rally bike or an adapted enduro bike?
Yeah, so this is the Fantic 450 XEF Rally. Well, this is the factory edition, so I've got myself some nice red anodized clamps, some stronger wheels with like better hubs for the strength of the sprocket, so it's got some rubbers in there just to take away that stress off the engine. Yeah, it's got all the tower, navigation, safety equipment and stuff, all new to me. I've never had any of this before with Enduro. I just had a time card and a watch, so yeah, it's the real deal.
And Chrono stage tomorrow, looking forward to that?
I'm not sure yet.
Have you ridden much in the sand dunes?
No, I've not done any dunes really. I did Morocco to qualify for this, and that was really the final day that was dunes. Had a little taster today for 120 k's, so I'm sure tomorrow we'll be jumping in the deep end.
Well, we'll check back in on rest day and see how you fared.
Yeah, hopefully I'm still in one piece.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's nice to hear from her. She's really jumping in without a lot of experience and really showing very respectful finishes, very impressive.
Yeah, it's super cool, and sounds like basically really only her second experience with rally, and
jump into the deep end.
Knows a whole lot about how it's all working, and she went and did Morocco and qualified, and she's on. So
that's impressive, because don't listen to that and think that it's something that anybody can just go do if they get the opportunity, because it's not easy. She's making it seem a lot easier than it is, because she is extremely good at riding enduro bikes. I don't think people maybe understand exactly the level of competency of her riding is. It's impressive. We're talking, she led the Great Britain team to their first ISDE win. So this is really, really high competition.
Yes. I mean, she's no stranger to multi-day events. She's done many 6 days, and so she knows that rhythm of getting up and riding all day and having to elevate your game for days on end. So.
Yeah, and preserving machines so they continue to work the next day.
Yep,
it's a big part of it. Stage 6 continues tomorrow. We got kind of a sprint for the top contenders, but like we said, for Moto guys and Jane and the other competitors, they still have half a day. They have 400K to go.
Yeah. It's going to be, I think there's going to be people out there for a while tomorrow, and they're going to be coming in late. Our top Rally GP guys will probably be in pretty early. I think they're starting at 7:30. They'll catch the first flight, and basically the rest day is going to start when they finish the stage tomorrow. So hopefully not too much drama with failures and fuel problems and whatnot.
Yeah, we can hope. And also we hope that some of these poor people that are still on the course right now make it to those flights. Because if they miss their flight, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, true. And hopefully my standings for the Dakar Fantasy Derby improve from where they're sitting right now, because right now I'm not looking so good.
Yeah, I'm not looking good at all.
Maybe some stuff shakes up tomorrow and I get a few points.
After rest day, there's a couple of Dakar Rally Daily Fantasy Derby updates we got to shout out to everybody. Number one, you can win a Gas e-bicycle, the Moto 1 beach cruising super cool bike by playing this game. It's a free entry. We got a bike secured from Gas. You can win that sucker. We're going to also probably trickle down some prizes from our other sponsors into some top finishers as well. But we are going to shake it up here. Starting after today's stage, we are going to start removing the multipliers so that the incentive to pick 1,000 people and give them each $1 will be diminished.
Yep.
We're going to start prioritizing accuracy in the top 10 or so people. So if you want to look at what that looks like, check out the top of the page. There's this thing called Derby T10 results. If you look at this category, this is basically everything in the top 10 without those multipliers picked. So
I don't think
go
I'm
scroll around there.
I don't think I'm in there either. But
that's okay.
Maybe.
You're ineligible for the prizes anyway.
Maybe.
But it's a fun way to get more accurate and maybe, increase your bets on some guys you really want to get behind and, try to get focused on these top people.
Some incentive to put your money on the top 10.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is, fool. I dare you.
Fake money.
Yeah, your fake money. In case the IRS is watching, this is not real money.
There's no money.
There's no money here.
This podcast does not make any money.
There's no money here, and that's okay. We're not here for the money. We're here because this race deserves the coverage, and the people racing this race deserve the notoriety and
all our
a little
listeners,
bit exposure.
All our listeners deserve to know what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on before I did this. That's why I started it.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't, arguably know what's going on sometimes.
I started it because I got tired of walking around at work having people ask me what's going on at Dakar, and basically for the month of January I wouldn't get any work done.
You just turn into a little
repeater. It hasn't changed. Basically I go to work and I just repeat what I say at the podcast.
You're still not getting any work done. Just make them watch the podcast.
Listen to the podcast. That's why I did it.
That's why it's on YouTube now. You can watch it. You don't even have to.
Not talking about Dakar anymore after 8 a.m.
In 5 more minutes. Quinn's done for the day. Anything else we need to talk about today?
I think we're good.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, Klein at the top of that board. Obviously, KTM's on board as our OEM sponsor this year. We got Moto Minded, Giant Loop, Rally Navigator. Go to rallynavigator.com and start building some road books, people. It is fun. And you could just do it in your neighborhood. You can do a beer run with your buddies, but with a road book. I've done it. It's fun.
Very cool. Don't forget Taco Moto.
I would never forget him.
Our boss there. He's giving away some stuff for the Fantasy Derby.
And Peak Design, there's my tripod. If anybody wants a better view of that. Snaps onto the back. This is their phone case, which is like the nicest phone case I've ever had because it slips into my pocket without getting hung up. That's a little magnet, and then I can set my stuff up. I used this to make taco seasoning the other night. That's my menu holder.
It's a good idea.
It is. It works great.
Those, yeah.
FaceTime. The kids can FaceTime Grandma and Grandpa. I just stand it up.
Dude, where's mine?
Because when kids do FaceTime, they do this. And all you see is their forehead.
My kids just make the funny faces the whole time. And there's no point in FaceTiming.
No point. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to our sponsor, Peak Design. Thank you for that phone case stuff. We got more stuff coming up from them. And everybody else, Fast Company. Thank you so much. High Desert Adventures. Ace, we didn't get you on the show today, but we'll get you soon. Sorry.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Peace out.
Over and out.
Say anything or do anything until all the red lights are on. That's how these work.
Yeah, make sure you push the right buttons today so we don't have to do this twice again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting better. Yeah. We're not great at this.